when you deliver a presentation, there needs to be something, a transformation. Something needs to happen at the end of this. And you're going to potentially ask for an order. Ooh, scary stuff, right? Everybody's sitting there going, oh no, Russ, I don't ever want to ask for an order. It's just like, boo. Oop, wrong sound effect. This one here. You're sitting there, boo, Russ, I don't ever want to do that, right? Is ask for an order. Man, I'm Canadian. We don't ask for orders, right? So here's the key thing of doing is, and a wonderful book to read on this is, and I'm looking over at my bookcase because has Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, just over here. Wonderful book if you ever want to read a good book on negotiation. And the key premise of that is asking what questions and how questions. At the end of the presentation, one of my favorite questions to ask is, so what do you think about this? How would you like to proceed going forward? What are the next steps that are right for you? What and how questions. I want to put it back to them for them to tell me what the next steps are, them to tell myself what they're thinking about, them to tell me and solve the problem of what are we doing next? How are we planning to proceed? What would you like to do from here? And then I listen, I shut up and I just listen to them talk, and I listen to them share what they thought about the presentation. And I just ask lots of what and how questions to eventually get them to potentially make an answer, right? I'm going to eventually ask for an order. Is this something that you would like to get involved with? If something is not 100% and they're humming and hawing, so what's missing here for you? Another what question. How would you proceed? How would you like to move forward to take the next steps, right? You know, if somebody says, well, I'm just not sure about this. Well, okay, hang on a second. On a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give this investment opportunity a rating? You know, let's say they come back and say 6. Ooh, 6. What would have to happen in order for this to be a 10 for you? And then I'm going to shut up and listen. I'm going to let them tell me what they need to see there. And then what I'm going to determine at that time is I'm going to answer the question for myself is, can I fulfill their expectations? Can I fulfill it? If I can't, then I'd be honest. And I'll be honest and say, I don't know if I can fulfill your expectations. Your expectation is just something I can't deliver. No problem. What's your plan? And then let's just say we get to a point where we're just, you know, this is an entire other conversation. And I didn't mean to go this way, but we'll go this way. Let's go down this direction. I can easily pivot here. If they're not interested in moving forward, totally fine. Remember, my intention is to help you move forward as an investor. That's my intention. I will then frame it back to things that they've told me about how they want to, their great big why. Remember, let's go back to the person who owns the veterinary clinic. Remember? Glove up to arm, turning calf inside the business end of a cow, you know, talking on the phone, you know, with the 5 kids and just have no time. And they're 7 days a week and they're looking to get down to 3 days. I'll come back to that conversation of, so if this isn't right for you, no problem. That's my attachment is to do what's right for you. What's your plan? And then I'll listen to them because I'm a viable opportunity. I'm a bridge to help them get from phone here, glove up to here, turning a breached cow down to 3 days a week, eventually over time. I'm that bridge. Okay. So if I start going away and I'm no longer that bridge, what's their plan? And those are just some of the questions that I will always ask, and I will always help people. And then here's the final thing is at this time is I will clearly define next steps. First of all, I'll ask them, what do they think the next steps are from here? Okay. But then what I'll also do is I'll clearly define what the next steps are from here. I sure hope you enjoyed that segment from a recent podcast episode. If you don't want to miss another episode, make sure you subscribe. There will be a subscribe link right here. And if you want to watch another segment from that episode, there will be a link up here, or you'd like to watch a playlist of the full long-form podcast episodes, there'll be a link down here. Enjoy.